if you are a gent, a razo, a lover, either one of those will do. We want you to get involved in the conversation every Friday afternoon at around this time. We take the conversation to you. Mautula Natasazi. What happens is that we bring gents around the table to have a conversation about a topic, and Namhlanje is no different. And we have kept Mr. Menzi Numalo in the studio with us. If you missed out, he was with us a little bit earlier. Esitazela ukuthi ubani and what his hopes and dreams are. We are also being joined in the studio by a very special guest, umlaleli wethu omkhulu igama lakhe uZwakele Mthembu. Mr. Mthembu ngiqale ngawe, since you are the last in, first greeted. Good afternoon and welcome to Khuluma Razo.
Good afternoon to you guys and to the listeners of Even FM. I'm so excited to be here. My heart is young today.
I can see you are glowing. You are absolutely glowing. So good to have you with. And again, Mr. Ngumalo, thank you for staying the extra hour to be a part of this conversation.
It's a pleasure. It's a pleasure.
All right. Of course, we've got Ulova in the studio with us. Like I said, you can check us out live at Vuma FM on Facebook. Our Facebook page, we are live there. So now Puti Razo Maukona, you might want to save this number 0737091991. Ngoba manje sikhuluma nawe. And ayiko complicated namhlanje. It's a very, very simple question that we are bringing to Amarazo. And the question on the table is this. Amarazo, all right? You right, my gents? You right?
Kakul, it's right.
You right?
It's right. Well, then again, it depends on how you look at it. It's right. So, personally, I'm sure it's right. Koto la pand. Isimusi.
Sipson.
Amarazo, aweko right. If it's a Khuluma mhlawumbe ngama relationships, kumarazo kuyabheda. But I think it's contesting in terms of Marazo. It's just the position that we are in today. I'm going to speak from a perspective of a married man, because I'm a married man, but inside Razo, you know. And ngizokhuluma futhi ngeperspective yomfana omncane who still aspires to be where I am, that is a married man. Kumbula, you are talking to someone who's been married for more than 20 years.
Wow. Congratulations.
So, thank you. To a beautiful, beautiful lady that has given me 4 beautiful kids. Unozipho Mthembu. And Spa, Amahle, Asimbonge, Baphelele, you know, and I've got Ibanati as well. But Gila Lankon, Amarazo. Awasazazo with Amarazo. That's where the problem starts.
Okay. Why Ningazazi?
Okay. Vanessa, let me make it simple. Injelento, when you grow as a man, as a razo, there are things that you need to outgrow in your process of growing. So, awas with razo, you still do boyish things, because there's a phase yoguba a boyish somebody, and then there's a phase yoguba a teenager. You know. So when you are a razo, the boys and the teenagers need to look up to you. You know, not utwena, usuyirazo, you know, and then you still find yourself in the same corners where you find these kids. And then there's a problem.
Here's I like where you started out. I do like where you started out, Zwakele, because I'm going to come to you, Menzi, and you were talking about that, about superheroes, how everybody needs a superhero. We talked about that in the last hour. What Uzwakele is saying, does that resonate with you in terms of Amarazo awazazi in this day and age?
To be honest with you, it's a beautiful question. Because when you ask the question, the must think before upping because you ask, are you okay?
Are you okay?
Are you okay? Kunansizo right now, spiritually is not okay. That's the first key. Spiritually, our faith are okay. Emotionally, our okay. Financially, our faith are okay. Ayikine hlungu ukuthi uyinsizwa ubona ezinye insizwa idrive imoto phambi kwakho and you can't. Ayike inehlungu ubona insizwa ishadelwa phambi kwakho and you can't. Akekho inehlungu ukuthi now you have dreams and wish, and inehlungu ukuthi ubona iminyaka ihamba and ayike into ekhona kuwena. Hence when I say spiritually isilimele sizinsizwa. Kunomfowethu oshayela itekisi right now. Njalo uyahlupha lo drive. Uyathetha, but what is he going through? It's a beautiful question what you just asked. emotionally silimele sizinsizwa.
Okungiyisa lapho ukuthi so kubangwa yini ke lokho ngoba singabuka isimo sisho ukuthi this is the first generation of grown-up men that have come out after democracy yet, where you now have options ngomsebenzi, where your fathers might not have had options ngokuthi ushada bani nini kanjani, where your fathers might have had not have had, sorry. So with all of those, they always say this, with rights comes responsibility. Anifundiswanga leyo responsibility ngaleyo ndlela ngoba there was no one in that position before you. So who was going to teach you? So that's, for me, from an outsider female, is what I pick up. Is that part of the story, or am I overstepping as a female?
No, Vanessa, you're not. Let me first start. Menzi, you've hit the nail in the head. Okay. Emotionally, spiritually, and otherwise, you know, men go through, you know, a lot of stuff. Remember, the system that we are in today has also contributed in Amachita not being okay. Or men, there's a lot of power that has been given to women these days. You know, you go to the system, we might, you know, let's face it, you know, we might apply you and I, Vanessa, same position in a company, but the preference is going to be you, you know, and then we are left out. But in adding to that, you know, let's look at it. I've recently spoken to a young man. This young man is not okay because he's fighting with his father. And then he's saying that my dad was never there in my life, you know. He is not there. Even now, he's not there. I'm going through all this stuff. And if he was there, you know, perhaps I could have been a better man or a better person. But then when he came to me, and then I paused and I said, oh, hang on, I hear you know, completely. But let's look at this. For a second, is going through the same thing that when you are going through. And then he started crying. But the difference here, you still have an opportunity to go and fix it with him. But yeah, he's crying because his father, is no longer there. So, something that he himself was never given. And then what you can do is pick up the phone right now, phone your father, fix it. He picked up the phone his father, fix it. His father prayed for him and he gave him a blessing. Today, they're the best buddies. So therefore, we are born ukuthi angikwazi ukukunikeza into mina engingakaze ngize ngiyithole. It just doesn't happen.
True. Yo, I want to agree with the gentleman here, Asiko Righty, and I would take a different route maybe and say, by societal standards, we don't have a choice as guys. We're not given the choice. As a man, this is what I want to do. This is how I want to live. But then it's predetermined. As a guy, you have particular responsibilities. You have to live a certain way. You can do so much. You can't do this because it's not man-like, you know. So I think the way in which we are introduced, we already have limited choices on what you can do. You have to get married. You have to have a family. You have to have this. You have to be a not responsible, but you have to be a provider. You can't just be you, bro. Like, growing up, I was like, I bet you some of the things that we have to go through as men. I don't want to do any of those, you know. I just want to be me. But as I grow, damn, I don't have a choice, man. I have to be a man, get married, have a home. So I think as men, we have limited choices in life. We have just a line that we have to follow in order for us to be successful in one way or another.
Here's what I love, just to add on that. Umuntu lalele car right now.
Yeah.
I love how Umfowethu is speaking from umuntu oshadile.
Yeah.
Thina majida silimaza thina sometimes. Ukubone ama video trendayo. Umfowethu kade phila njengami nawe. Soon as athenga iveni siyaqala uyapost indoda engena veni slim. Yabo. Social media thina madoda was not meant for us, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
If thina abantu besilisa will stay away kancane social media and focus on praying in ourselves. Into yakho mvethe yakho, it's meant for you. whatever problems and struggles just to lie. There's no king that's get to be a king without being king. There's no queen that's get to be a queen without being king. So the problems that we face are problems that as we are meant to be like here corner, so that Mrs. Figure like corner, we are able to control and build a family. Senior Pambi. So Tini put a little slenza. Like there's a video that was trending. I didn't see the video, but I did voice note. Lomfo just give an eye equals 7. Give an eye stairs. So in his head, you play stairs, he equals 7. Soon as he get this car, what is he gonna do?
What's next?
Who's opposed to coming as the guy that doesn't have it wins that. Fucking pure pressure on him. Uguti, Mabushi, look at me now. I mean, I'm old, but I got my career started happening last year.
Yeah.
So all these years, bekwenzakala. Yabo. Kunomfowethu othi give up in life. So she's alone for 2 years. We've been hustling Tina Shizila for so long. Now doors are opening now. Everything has a timing. And any routine slimaza machida as for no socialize nabanye abantu. Tina we are both like trees njengensizwe. Ukuthi isihlahla esinye sikude kunesinye but they connected through roots. So njoba sihlangana sixoxa. Hawu mfethu usebenza hayi kuyabheda mfethu. Oh okay. Awuyazi kunomfethu oqasha endaweni ethile mfethu akuzame again. That's how impilo yethu is designed because mawusuka la uye mall you're going to bump into somebody. Mawuphuma la ungene eTaxini uzofica omunye umuntu eTaxini. So hence I always say sometimes leave the car. Get into a taxi sometimes. Yes, bazobuka abantu ufunani vele eTaxini but le moment yakhe eTaxini uzobona ingane isukumela umuntu and you see ukuthi ubuntu busakhona. That's how Tina we are designed as a matter of fact.
Yeah. I have the perfect panel. I have the perfect panel. I cannot be more grateful for this topic to land on this show with Ulova, Umankini Mkenge, with our guest Umenzi Ngumalo, if you are just joining us, as well as one of our listeners, Uzwagele Mtembu. We are talking about me right, my gents, my guy, all right? Are you okay? That's the topic. You can think about it. Give us or send us rather a voice note. Let us know. We are here to have the conversation. And you touched on something, Menzi, right now, that was quite profound when you said men are like trees. They are some distance from each other, but they are connected at the root. And weirdly enough, Izol, I was watching this social media that I'm also not a big fan of, but there was a lady, Khuluma Razo, millionaires. She had gone to a networking session with millionaires, some billionaires. And she said, bane language yabo laba bantu. As an outsider, laba bantu bane language yabo. And into ayifundile yena, lo sisi, 3 things ayishilo. 1, everyone that spoke on that panel, or a millionaire, believes in God. Bakhulume ngoNkulunkulu. At some point in their address, uNkulunkulu bamphakamisile. Okwesibili, they do not believe in multitasking. Ukuthi mawusuqala unyuka, noma you can hardly afford it, but delegate. Get people to support you in whatever you're doing. Okwesithathu that she mentioned, what all of these people have mentors. Laba bantu have a board of directors for their life. Not just emsebenzini, they are millionaires. So I use this in the context of le nkulumo yethu yanamhlanje. For abantu besilisa. Ukuthi how do you plan to proceed and grow in life? Ningakwazi ukuba nalaba bantu enibathembayo that you look up to, the father figures if you don't have a father, the brother figure if you don't have a brother. Lokho kubambisana, because I don't know what it is. Ngabantu besilisa ebanqandayo uku-communicate njengoba senza namhlanje. You know, it takes them a certain maturity to be able to be open about asikho right.
Yeah.
You know, it's nice and fun there by the social media. Everybody's acting like they're okay. There's a generation out of people with happy pictures and sad souls, that sort of thing. So what is stopping in general on an everyday basis? Zwagele ukuthi nihlale nje nibizane nithatha ba younger than nina. Why I mean we women are, but that's a different topic. We're not that great at it either, but for Amagents, what is stopping you from being mentors and guiders?
Look, I want to mention 2 things. Okay, the one, Umenzi has mentioned it, the social part of it, the posting and whatnot, you know. Siphila esikhathini indoda must, okay? You know, indoda must, you know. And who is indoda must? Okay, when you have achieved what you have achieved, singena kuthini. You know what I mean?
I do.
Yeah. Now, we live in a time where I can't ask anyone anything, but whatever I want to know, I just go Google. So we live in a Google society. So if I want to know how to date, believe you me, I cannot even go and ask my uncle. I'm going to just say how to date. You know, that is the situation. Okay, I'm coming from this. Okay. The second part I want to talk about.
Yes.
There's a hero in my life, you know, my brother. I was raised by Ujo. That's my brother. My father passed away when I was told I was 6 months. But my brother had to leave school so that I could be educated today. You know, that's the hero I'm talking about. So, uma sinabantu abanjalo emndenini nasemphakathini, it doesn't have to be a blood-related somebody, like in my case, but somebody that you look up to. It's easy for us to convene and sit on the table and talk, because we have somebody that is going to point fingers at us and say, when I was there wrong, when is there wrong, when there's wrong. Wozala. This is the platform where we can talk. For as long as we don't have heroes and we regard Google, I'm sorry to say about Google, but we regard Google as our center where we get all the information from, we're never going to be okay.
And as right. I want us to go to our WhatsApp line. I know the gents in the studio have a lot to say, and I'm going to come back to you, but I'm seeing lots of messages saying powerful topic, powerful words. I want to hear from Umlalelo ukuthi yena uthini ngalo topic yethu namhlanje ebuzayo ukuthi ni right my gents, are you okay? Taking your voice notes as well.
Bafethu. Hayi, yabona nje bafethu. Ni kumba into deep. This is deep. Vuma, this is deep. Siyabonga crew. Hey, the afternoon crazy crew. Ehlezi fika namabhomu every Thursday. Ulalele sikhulisane samadoda. Akesibuyisa ubuntu. Ngeke uzuthi uzorape ingane ena 5 years. What do you see there? What do you see there, bafowethu? Bafowethu ngeke uzuthi njengoba esho ubafu nami ngilaba abakule department abashadile for 10 years now. So ibe ijeni. Kodwa nawe ufune ku understand ukuthi khulisa laba abantu ukuze ingabalimazi lento ekulimazele nawe. Yabo ile nto efika ishathi nesithi hayi uzoyibonela na kanti ufune kumlapha umuntu the time umbona ukuthi nange ufuna ukucheka lo hayi ndoda ayikhuleka yazi mawenze kanje shona kanje enza kanje silaphane samadoda hayi ukuthi bedana umuntu uthi hayi uzoyibonela naye. That's wrong. Hayi sibonge Vuma, sibonge. Hayi madoda ake niqhubeke impela nisabalelisa amadoda sizazi ukuthi ngoba thina sidalelwe ukuthi sitshale imbewu sinakekele futhi hayi ukuthi sihlukumeze. Hey bafowethu ngiyabonga.
Kubonga thina upote Menzibiyela kwamashu for your comment, and we are sharing a powerful topic, and I really thank you for your comment because I can hear the depth at which it is touching him. And he's responding in kind. And I'm going to take another voice note. I'm so glad Razo are on board today for Khuluma Razo. Thank you so much. Let's take another voice note.
Khuluma Razo. Vanessa Ngini. It's a good topic. It's a very good topic. This topic has been worrying me for a long time. But when I realized, I would say roughly 70% of our boys grew up without their fathers. So nobody to teach. Now can school any first year. But we are going to do nothing. But the sense of pride will never be instilled by anybody except the father. A man can only be affirmed by another man. A man can only be affirmed by another man. If the man is not there, who's going to affirm him? I've got a boy, the firstborn Yami Usmanga is 23. When I'm shaving, when I come back behind me, when I look at the mirror, I see him when I was 20. I see myself when I was 23. When you look at the mirror, he sees me at the age of 50, what he will look like. So there's a point of reference. So guys, lento yeshakulu sazindle mnyama. I wish we can establish a forum yabantu besilisa who will adopt young boys and grow them and be their fathers in their life, so that it can give them direction.
That was a lot that came from that. One of the biggest things, only a man can affirm another man. And I saw all the men in the studio today nodding their head to say that is a true truth. I really am so grateful for all these messages coming through today, and the fact that Amarazo are willing to open up and share their perspective on the fact that even Amarazo are worried about Amarazo. And that's something that as another gender, I didn't know that you were aware. Let's take another voice note.
Ngiyahambeli zakho ngiyabingelela e-studio ngilalele la uhlelo lomnandi nesihloko simnandi futhi udaba olukhulu abantu besilisa ngoba sesibanyasa kuningi abantu besilisa abadlula kuwo kodwa kuwukuthi abantu abafuni ukukhuluma. Zingabaningi izinto ngabe siswela abantu mhlambe esingafohla kubo at some point, okanye sisaba ukusizwa kwahlulelwa emva kokubhodla. Kungaba kuningi kodwa mhlambe safuna ke ibhekwe in such a way ukuthi umuntu wesilisa uyithatha kanjani position yakhe from being umfana azanyuke azaba insizwa adlule emsizweni azafika bewubaba aphinde achazele futhi umuntu wesilisa ukuthi uyini ubaba ngubani ubaba. So ngicabanga ukuthi into enkulu yethu ilahleke nje kwi-disposition yethu silahleke indawo yethu yalahleka kakhulu in such a way ukuthi nathi we just siyaphila nje kodwa sazi ukuthi siphila into yaphi. Kodwa nje ngazi ngalithanda uhlelo angibonga.
For me, that was what caught me. That for me. You know what? One thing that I'm picking up across the board is that people are saying either the gent that said only a man can affirm a man, also the gent who said a lot of, it might have been the same gent who said a lot of people are growing up without fathers or mentors or whatever. What I'm curious about, Njoba Sila, for 2024, the older generation, Ondaga and the younger generation coming up, that can fall also by the wayside if no intervention is immediately given. Are the younger ones coming up going to be receptive of ukondiswa? Noma sekulate kakhulu.
Abasekho omkhulu imizi eminingi abanabo baba abanabo omkhulu. Imizi eminingi asekho umuntu wesilisa or ubaba oqotho. Yabona. I moved in 2020 excuse me, to a location in English igama, and mangidlula ngabona umuntu omdala and I greet him ngaze ngabeka izandla kanjalo usawubona baba njani othe show mjila kamba kanjani.
That's true.
Yabona. And with so much confidence, I mean my hands are like yabona umuntu omdala awusawubona baba yabona, hey show mjila kamba kanjani. Yabona ngenza kwethu mina I'm going to be honest with you. Ma umuntu wesilisa, find yourself. Angeke uphume kubaba ngaphandle ufuna into ngaphandle in, find who you are. Yabona nje ukuthatha ifoni ishiye eceleni ungene wedwa kamerweni uzibuza ukuthi ngubani, ingelosi yakhe yovela ikhombisa ukuthi ubani, because ayike nehlungu bafethu ukuthi mina I grew up baba mbe khona baradlala indima enkulu ngirezwe oledi na mama. To be where I am today, the gentleman that I am today, there was no father figure that told me how to be, what to be, not in. I learned ukuthi ekhaya mahleli sikhona siwumndeni, okay sibani bana ngekho right, manginokuthi fanele ngikhiphe nami ngedela. It teaches you kwesinye isikhathi you get to groom yourself with what you surround yourself with. Yabona, if wena uzobukela i-TV show njalo wena ku-TV show plan you matter, guess what's going to happen to your brain? Yabona, so focus now, but even if you can't get that father figure, Iba nento or indlela yakho ukuguqa phansi uthandaza uNkulunkulu ngathi ngiyaduka la, please guide me.
Yeah.
Yabona, ngisanda host men's conference la. Ngiyokholwa ukuthi entry fee was 50 rand. And isibhalile ukuthi there's 50 rand for inhloko, so inhloko. Kufona umfowethu wathi Zwide ngiyathanda ukuza nganyakwethu. Ngathi hayi woza with excitement, now come through. Anginawo kwawona 50 rand. Lo muntu beyi-bank manager enayo yonke into. Uthi kwathi kubheda nganyakwethu umfazi wami wethu waphuma wangishiya. Angikwazi nje ukuthenga i-rice elincane la 1 kg. Indoda lebisebenza inakho konke. Nanokuthi nawe ndoda mawuthandazela umuntu ozothandana naye. Spiritually zibambe wazi ukuthi lo muntu engithanda nawe uyaphi. Ngeke uthandane nomuntu njalo hlala mekhuluma nawe it's weave is this. Ukhipha imali yokugcina ongenayo. Athi ngifuna ukwenza inzipho ekhaya usaludleni.
It's tough. I wanna answer Vanessa's question.
No problem, bro.
Are other younger gents receptive of ukundiswa or
Guidance,
or
yeah.
guidance? Yeah. I think umcabango wami also answer umbuzo oqala waseqaleni ukuthi why singakhulumi. I think the moment ngisondela kuZwide noma kumvelase ngithi hey mfowethu kunento kanje is the moment I accept ukuthi ngifeyilile. It's admission of failure. So the moment ngiyukela kumuntu for guidance or for assistance, it means to me, I should say ngifeyilile on my own. And umuntu wesilisa or indoda sometimes do not want to fail. True. As much as you will affirm me, uzongifaka endleleni, but uma ngathatha step ngenza kuwena should mean sengifeyilile on my own. So I think that's another challenge esinayo as young men, as men ukuthi failing is also good, bro. You can fail and you can rise again and you can get people to make fire endleleni.
I appreciate that question, and I've got to jump in just because our time is running out and we literally could sit here for another 2 hours, and I think one of the days we'll have to take this out of the studio because it's an important topic. What you've said, Mankini, right now is also a very important one, and as you were talking, I wanted to jump in, but I wanted you to finish, to say, who said that to reach out for help means that you have failed? Who taught you that is what I'm trying to understand. As young men, who taught you that? And I'm able in a younger case. I really want to understand to look for help. How would somebody teach you that means you have failed? I think that is such a heartbreaking statement.
I think it comes from within.
I mean, growing up, khona izinto look siphila ngesilungu manje khona amagama athi built in, you know. So that kind of words, you know, there are things that men hold dear to them and say, look, I've been taught what a man cannot cry, you know, and then, you know, this, you know. Let me perhaps wrap up quickly and say something. I'm going to take us back a little bit biblically. You know, we know the story, God created Adam, Eva, and then, okay, but things began to fall when men moved from their position. So when, as a man, you move away from your position of being a man, it is not easy for other men to follow in the trend because you have not left anything there for others to look up to. So you've moved away from it. So therefore, you kind of move away with a whole lot of things. Yabo kunezinto ezinempakamo phakathi, izinto ezokuthoke mhlawumbe mina ngiright, and futhi samarazo sisodwa sinakho ukuvalelana ngaphandle. Sikhulumeni iqiniso. You know, I'm okay and I'm untouchable now. So uma ngikubuka I'm afraid to come to you because, you know, you are on another league. You know what I mean? And you're gonna shut me out. It's completely. You're forever busy. You don't answer your call or something because ubonile ukuthi in. And ezinye zalezo zinto lezo zenziwa yithina in a broader way, like involve khona my family. Yokuthi once waba successful, I cannot come close to you because I'm thinking that you're gonna be coming and asking for something.
And I'm gonna let all the gents I'm gonna give you 30 seconds each to completely wrap it up.